Team Fortress 2 is almost 10 years old, and it's still one of the most played games on Steam. But where exactly is TF2 going? Yes, we have all heard the dank memes saying TF2 is dying. TF2 was dead when the End of the Line update happened. TF2 was dead when the Gunmetal update happened. TF2 was dead when the Invasion update happened. TF2 was dead when the Tough Break update happened. TF2 was dead when the Meet Your Match update happened. And lastly, TF2 is dead now that the latest Halloween update happened. Let's just get this out of the way. TF2 is not fucking dead. Total Biscuit described this phenomenon really well in an episode of the Co-optional podcast.
There's always the possibility for revivals in games like this, but simultaneously, there can be a very prevailing attitude amongst the more vocal side of gamers, you know, on forums and subreddits and things like that, where they'll become like, it's cool to say that this game is dead, or this game is like, it's fucked beyond belief. It was a recent thing with Payday 2, where they've removed all the microtransactions, apparently.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've covered this topic before, but a bunch of people responded to that by saying, too little, too late. I was like, there's no such thing as that in 2016 for video games.
Like, people have spouted StarCraft 2 is dead for years. No. When a game has tens of thousands of players, it's not dead. TF2 has about 70,000 current players. Just because it isn't as big as it used to be, it doesn't mean it's dead. And here's one of the best things Total Biscuit said during the podcast I was talking about. I'm paraphrasing, so it's not exactly what he said, but you get the idea. When you can log onto the game in question and you can get into a full server of players at any time of the day, then it's not a fucking dead game. If a game has plenty of active servers, it's not dead. And as he also said, games can be revived. Like, as if TF2 has a couple of bad updates, there's no going back ever. That's it, it's too late now, it's dead. The reason I was inspired to make this video was actually because of a single comment on one of Scott Joss' videos, where he talks about what would happen if Valve stopped updating TF2 forever. The comment starts off with saying that he thinks TF2 would still live on without updates because there's so much to do in the game, but then he ends off the comment with this. If you think the game's going to die soon, it's because you either want it to actually die, or you got on the bandwagon, or you're purely a pessimist. So my point is that it wouldn't be a tragedy if they stopped updating, but it would be a bad decision. And that was what set me off. Saying that if you think TF2 is going to die soon, you either want it to die or you're just on the bandwagon, is just absolutely ridiculous. Not only does it generalize a lot of people, but the statement itself is just insane. Let me explain it this way. I personally fear that TF2 is going to die within the next 2 years or so. I fear that it might happen. I do not hope that it will die, neither am I on the bandwagon. I've played TF2 for over 7 years. It is my favorite game of all time. But of course the latest updates has made me play it less. Because it is frustrating to play a game where the developers clearly doesn't play their own game. And doesn't seem to give half a shit about it. At the moment I'm playing a lot of Overwatch, not because I think it's a better game than TF2, but because it feels really good to play a class-based shooter where the devs truly cares about their game and communicates with their community. When something is overpowered or underpowered, it gets fixed. Of course we can't demand the same from the TF2 team, as it's not as massive as the Overwatch team. And I'm just going to end off this part with saying that the TF2 community in itself is fantastic. I would say that the biggest reason TF2 is still going pretty strong is because of the community. It's a weird meme-filled entity and no other community is like it. This might be the most important question to a lot of people. Where exactly is TF2 going? Now, I believe TF2 can be revived, or whatever you want to call it. I just don't think it can happen under the wing of the current TF2 team. And a lot of people have brought up the possibility that a third party could pick up TF2, a team that actually is dedicated to the game. But the question is Valve willing to do this? Yes, they did bring on Hidden Path for CSGO competitive, but contrary to what a lot of people believe because of one of Uncle Dane's videos, this team doesn't work on CSGO anymore. From what Uncle Dane said in his video, a lot of people seem to leave that video thinking that Hidden Path is the ones controlling CSGO's competitive mode to this day. but according to their own website, they worked on it from 2009 during the beta to the game's launch in 2012. And this is what kind of frustrates me, in a way. It makes it seem like Valve doesn't like to have outside people working on their games. And this can be a problem, because the way things are going, it doesn't seem to me like the current TF2 team is the one that is going to bring TF2 out of the gutters. I personally hope for another team that truly loves TF2 as much as the community does to come on and take over the development, but realistically, I don't believe that is actually going to happen. The question of where is TF2 going is also a very complicated one, because the majority of people playing TF2 is playing casually. As a very competitive player myself, I was really hyped for the Meteor Match update. They promised to bring in a competitive mode, and the hope for seeing TF2 growing competitively was big for many people. And then they fucked up everything. They didn't just fuck up the competitive mode, the part that was supposed to be the main feature, they also managed to majorly fuck up the casual part. Now, I'm one of the people that don't think casual is the worst thing to happen to TF2 ever, but they definitely fixed something that wasn't really broken. Like, it's cool that they removed auto-scrambling and all that shit, but other than that, they really fucked up. Just a couple of days ago, I watched back on one of my old videos, and I mean, they all suck ass, but the thing is, I watched the video Back to the Pub Part 1, and I just sat there and saw how pubs used to be. And I don't think I'm able to explain why pubs were so much more fun before casuals, but when I watched that video I got the feeling I used to get when I played pubs. I think it was something about the fact that you could just jump in and out, join your friends at any time and quickly vote for the next map, or play the same map for literally 2 fucking hours. But back to what I was supposed to talk about. The question of where TF2 is going is highly dependent on what aspect of TF2 you actually want to go anywhere. I personally want to see a TF2 become a big competitive thing with giant tournaments and big prize pools, but again, realistically, I don't think that is going to happen. No, I'm not a pessimist, Mr. Random Comment Guy, but to see a 10-year-old game that hasn't been that big competitively thus far, I don't think that is a thing that is going to just happen. It hasn't happened before as far as I know, but who knows, it might be possible. I also feel like I have to mention the recent community project changes. I wrote this script a couple of weeks ago, so that hadn't happened at that time, but I felt like it needed to be mentioned. What Valve now has said is that the community is going to be able to vote for future community projects, which can potentially be a really good thing. Personally, I really hope that we get to see main and or frontline finalized soon, but it's really hard to tell at this point. So about this, I really don't know, I think it's too soon to tell really. The conclusion to this might seem like a cop-out, but I don't feel like I can say for certain what the future of TF2 is. What I can do, however, is speculate. If Valve in any way cares about this game anymore, I think they would gain back a lot of respect from the community if the upcoming Pyro update happens to be good. Some people are saying that other people are being too harsh on the TF2 team, and I agree with that to some degree. I don't think making 20 Reddit posts saying the same unconstructive shit over and over again is helping anyone, but at the same time it can't be excused that the majority of a dev team of a game clearly doesn't even play the game they are working on. And for all they promised in the Meteor Match update, I can't really say that it's shocking that a lot of professional and casual players left for other games. And yes, if they keep executing updates that poorly every time, more people are going to leave. But I don't think all their updates are going to be that bad. I mean, it could happen for all we know, but let's try to stay optimistic until we are given a reason not to. I think my conclusion is that it can go either way, and what Valve decides to do next can pull it in neither direction. I do, however, think that if the Pyro update is really bad, that is going to give them a lot of backlash. But on the other side, could Valve end up making Team Fortress 3? Because if you look at Counter-Strike Source, it was kinda a miss competitive-wise, but then they made CSGO, which is in many ways the same game, just graphically upgraded and technically improved. Could they actually make TF3 in the same way? It would certainly be interesting, and that would allow Team Fortress to become a modern competitive thing. But then again, what would happen to all the money people spent on cosmetics in TF2? Would it transfer over to TF3? Or would it simply be lost forever? I feel like this is a subject I could talk about for a whole other video, so I'll leave it at that. But all in all, TF2 is not dead. It's not in the best place it could be, but it's definitely not a lost cause. It's still one of my favorite games of all time, and I hope it keeps going for years to come. Thank you so much for watching. I worked a lot on this video, it took quite a while to make, so I really hope you enjoyed it. Now please click the like button and comment on this video, because YouTube is not showing people videos if they aren't being interacted with for some reason, so please just like and comment. That's all I'm asking for. And now, this video isn't just me saying what I mean, and it's not just a statement. I wanna know what you guys think. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Please let me know, because I wanna have a discussion about this. Do you have any idea what TF2 is going to be in the future? And lastly, before I go, I just wanna mention that I really wanna make a video playing TF2 Classic with you guys. So go over to my Steam group and join that if you haven't already, and I'm gonna set up an announcement to say when we can play TF2 Classic, and if we get enough people together, we can make a video out of it, and you're all gonna be in the video and talking with me and shit. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you next time.